Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is a very big video. In this video, we are going to be painting the sandrail. Before we get into painting, I'm going to show you guys some of the updates. Zach, would you mind following me this way? Okay, so currently it's in the shop. Some welding has been done to it, adding a few different points. Like this one right here, this is just going to give it more strength. We welded on some of the brackets and things. It's kind of mocked up now so you can get a better idea of where things are going to be situated. Just a few points down here. Motor mounts are all welded in. The braces for the seats are all welded in. We had some tabs and other things created up there for the control panel that we're going to need. This shoulder support bar, I think you guys know about that one. But the main thing that we've been having going on is just all these little brackets and things to hold everything up. This is going to be a long process. So step one is going to be to take everything off. Then we need to either sand or use like a paint stripper for the frame. Get all that down. We're going to do a primer and then we're going to jump into paint. We're not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it. So everything is off of the sandrail. Looks very similar to it did a year ago. We are about 1 year into our 1 month project. Still gotta take a few of these random little things off here, but you can take a look at some of those brackets. The other thing we put here is this plate. This, where the radiator sits, is gonna help protect us so we don't get hot fluid all over us if something blows up. Also, this is kind of our area where we're gonna put the reservoir here. Zach, remember how we talked about the ECU and other things and we were gonna put those on the floor? Is that a bad idea because of like water?
Well, I thought you were gonna make a box for it.
What do you mean by a box?
Like a waterproof box for it? You didn't upgrade to the waterproof ECU.
It's like, so the ECU and all the stuff we have right now, I believe is like water resistant, but it's not waterproof. Do you,
I mean, realistically, I mean,
should we put like something up here that we put everything, or?
We could if you want, but we don't have enough. We can do it there, wherever you want.
I don't know, but thankfully we got a lot of sheet metal and other things, so we can potentially play around with that idea. But after we use the aircraft remover, this is the stuff we're going to be using. This is going to help us get off most of the paint, and then we can sand off the rest of the rust and all that other stuff. We will probably do a little bit more mapping out of what we need to, like where we need to put things. For example, I have that pedal assembly here. I need to drill in here, figure out exactly where we want it to go, just sort of map things out a little bit better. We are going to add a plate on the bottom here, sort of a skid plate, just to help protect the oil pan down there in case we do hit something, which is probably going to happen since this is going off-road. But that was the update. Let's get back to it. That right there is what this stuff does. It like shrivels up the paint so it just falls off. You can wipe it off, chip it off. It's so strong, it even melted my cup. We're gonna let this stuff work its magic, then it's time for sanding and primer. So it's the next day, I let this stuff dry overnight. Let's take a look at what it looks like. You can see that paint is all like shriveled up, and it looks like it'll just come off a lot easier now. In hindsight, I probably should have either like power washed this or wiped it all off like right away, but we're gonna do what we can now. But it'll still come off a lot easier now, so we're gonna jack this thing up and get to sanding. couple days now, and at this point, what we have left to do, we need to power wash the sandrail, and then immediately after that, we gotta start painting. We have to power wash it, dry it really well, and then paint it so that it doesn't rust again, and all this would be for nothing. I'm gonna start off with a primer, and then after that, we're gonna do paint, and then clear coat after that. Right now, I'm actually going to pick up the sandrail. We have to transport it back to my house. I can't really paint it in the shop that it's in right now. They're also running a detail business in there, and there's other cars and stuff in the shop. It's just not really the ideal setup for painting, and I don't want to get overspray over everything, things like that. So we're moving the sandrail over here for a couple days, and then moving it back to the shop to get some other work done. Originally, I was planning on doing some of the mapping out of other things that we need after the primer was done and before painting, but I think I'm going to paint everything now and just get it done with so that we can have this complete. After that, we might need to make a few adjustments and maybe sand down a little corner and then repaint it again, but that's no big deal. If we do need to make small adjustments to things or drill out holes or maybe weld on a small little piece here and there, we can just get rid of that paint, sand it down, then repaint it, that small little spot. I'm not too worried about that. But I'm going to go pick up the sandrail, and I'll check back in once we're back. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. We want to paint the sandrail, a lot of these parts over here, some of these ones in that box too. There's little tiny things here and there. We want to start off by power washing it, making sure it's all dry after that. Then we're going to move on to primer, then paint. Got a lot to do, so let's get going. So what you just saw, we did a full double coat primer on this and then double coat of paint. Let's take a look at it. It went pretty good. It was kind of like the, it was the double coat like 2X stuff. So technically it was a primer 2X and then a paint and primer 2X. So it seems to have gone on pretty good. I mean, it's not like absolutely perfect. There are a few small spots I see that I need to touch up,
like right in that little crack there. I did miss that a little bit. Just a few things here and there I want to spray up. I also do think I'm going to run a double clear coat on this thing off camera, but for now it looks pretty good. I wanted to give it a little bit of time to dry and things. It was a tiny bit sticky at first, so I was a little worried about that, but seems to have solved that issue once it dried. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. The black looks really nice. It's nice and glossy. That's going to look good with our seat belts and all the other stuff that we're doing. So we have like the dark black color, and then we have the bright colors to kind of offset it. I think that'll look pretty nice. We also got the white engine, and then I do have colored wheels, but I don't think I want to reveal those yet. So you're gonna have to stay tuned for that. I'll show you some of the other parts we got here. These are all just the little things, like little parts of the side of the transmission, some of the other things here and there that got sprayed up, like these. These are just the clips that hold on that front assembly. I did want to take a moment and just kind of say thank you to you guys. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hanging out on the channel. I know that this project has been a lot longer than we initially thought. I'm learning a lot. A lot of this I have never done before. So I just kind of wanted to thank those of you who are sticking around and still watching the videos and still hanging out. This channel wouldn't be anything without you guys who are coming here to watch these videos and hanging out. Just know I really appreciate you guys. As far as next steps for the sandrail, like I said, I'm going to do that clear coat off camera. I'm going to clear coat this and then all the other little miscellaneous parts over there, just to kind of put a protective coat on it. Then I gotta go and take this thing back to the shop, just kind of doing all those logistic things that you don't see off camera. We are still kind of waiting on parts for a lot of things, so I think we have everything to run our fuel system. So we're probably gonna put the motor back in, mount the trans up, do the whole fuel system, things like that. I have yet to actually paint the transmission. I have that here, but I'm gonna do that in another video. We might do another color on that. So I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the next sandrail video. We're gonna do the fuel system. We also have to figure out where a lot of things are gonna go, kind of map it out, drill some holes, figure out how to mount these things, and pretty much just assembly at this point. You can see that the birds were not very kind of my project. This thing was definitely not easy to strip the paint off of, and the paint as well. It's just kind of so intricate. It's hard to get into all these little spots and things like that. And I did really have a lot of trouble. I thought that the power washer was going to do us a lot better. You can kind of see down here where a lot of that paint was still on there. Yeah, it doesn't look great, but at this point, there's not really much I can do. All in all, it looks pretty decent. If you guys want to stay updated on the build, make sure to smash subscribe. This thing's finally coming together, so I'm really excited about that. Thank you guys again for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.